a day for the Seattle Mariners on Sunday. They swept aside the Detroit Tigers, the best team in baseball, by the way. My goodness. We're going to talk about that series and how the Mariners offense did it. But mainly in this episode, we're going to talk about the MLB Draft. Kade Anderson, Luke Stevenson, Nick Becker. We're going to talk about the guys the Mariners drafted in this draft and if it maybe opens up some trade avenues for these guys and this team moving forward. And if we have time at the end, we're going to talk about the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game and what we expect out of the Mariners during all of this week. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 207 of the Hit It Here, 208 of the Hit It Here podcast. Stop laughing!
Just finish the intro. Just finish it.
Thank you guys so much for watching episode 208 of the Hit It Here podcast, part of the Bleav network, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review, like, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And this is the air conditioning episode of the podcast. Shout out to air conditioning. It's been hot. It's been very hot in here, and Joe and I have been streaming for hours, and now we're bringing this podcast to you. So if you hear a bit of a hum in the background, it's the air conditioner. And I am here with Joe.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's hot. I was thinking it could be the Ethan episode. Made us a nice graphic for Kade Anderson getting drafted. Also, could be the Scott Hunter episode, you know, for maybe nailing the draft and winning the draft on day one. I was giggling because you said players drafted in this draft. It was just funny to me. Because, like, it's still, like, there's more days. This is just, like, day one. You know what I mean? It was just funny.
I mean, there's going to be another pick that we're probably not going to be able to talk about at 91. Because
I mean, they're flying through it. They're at 74.
That's true. Maybe at the end of this, we'll be able to talk about the pick they make at 91. But for now, we need to start with the Detroit Tigers series, Joe. The first game against the best team in baseball, allegedly the best team in baseball. The Mariners came out swinging versus Tarek Skubal. In this game, Cal Raleigh had a couple of home runs. We saw a home run from Julio Rodriguez, finally, which was great to see. Donovan Solano in this game as well had a couple of knocks. Just all around a great performance by the team, which ended in a 12-3 victory.
Not to say that I predicted it after saying that, you know, Logan Gilbert would put a nice knot on the end of the first half by potentially honing in a series sweep for the... Listen, last episode, I was very pessimistic about the expectations going into this series. I don't know what I watched for 3 games straight, pretty much. This was not a recognizable team to me. This felt better than, at least on the offensive side, better than any moment that we've seen in the entirety of 2025. Dropping 12 runs on the Tigers in game 1, dare I say, mention setting the tone in a series. A phrase I like to use so well. Getting Skubal out after 5, 4 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and then being able to continue to do damage against the Tigers bullpen. I mean, you get shut down by Jake Rogers, kind of an L there. But, I mean...
The grand slam off of Carlos Hernandez from Cal.
Exactly. Just like an absolute moonshot to a tank, just to really kind of like hammer home a game 1 victory. The vibes were so low after a collapse in the final game against the Yankees. Because we didn't talk about the Yankees, that final Yankees game on the podcast, because it hadn't happened yet. It hadn't happened yet. It was the day of that we released that episode. And, I mean, you went nuclear on stream, which is an unlisted live stream now, apparently.
Can't be found anymore. Smile.
So, talking about, like, a vibe shift completely, it felt almost too good to be true, a 12-3 victory in the first game. So you didn't know, really, if they were going to maintain that the rest of the series. But the fact that you beat Skubal twice when he's probably the Cy Young frontrunner, a top 4 MVP possibility in the American League, like, you talk about this team's resiliency and their ability to bounce back. This is a great testament for that, and hopefully a welcome sign for what's to come in the second half.
Yeah, I think that the thing with this team is, and we've said it time and time before, they get knocked down once in a while, but they do find a way to fight back. And we saw it when they lost that first series back home. I Bleav they got swept by the Blue Jays. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
When they came off of that 9 series winning streak, they went out and they swept the Padres when they went back out on the road. This team on the road has been quite good, especially offensively, and that continued in game 2, even more so actually. This one, a 15-7 win from your Seattle Mariners. Julio with another home run. Randy hit a home run in this one. Luke Raley with a 3-run bomb as well. Cal, quiet in this one, but nonetheless, just a heck of a game from this entire lineup. George, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned. He did strike out 6. Couple of innings from Trent Thornton. Edward Bizardo had to come in there and give him a 2-run home run. Matt Brash had to go play fireman for Edward Bizardo. And then Taylor Saucedo closed it out because Carlos Vargas went on the paternity list in this game. So, or I guess before this game. But yeah, overall, you're able to take it to Casey Mize, a guy who is an all-star, who has a sub-3 ERA.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Only goes 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 earned, 1 walk with 4 strikeouts. And man, this is exactly what we needed to see as a series win versus the Tigers after an absolutely pitiful series in New York.
Letting the pitching not really have to worry, I think, is an easy way to win baseball games. If your offense is going to, through 2 games, put up 27 total runs, the chances of you losing one of those games is pretty stinking low. We didn't mention Castillo in the first game. It's similar to line to George Kirby. None of the pitching was really exceptional on either side, I would say. Like, both sides of the starting pitching, at least in these first 2 games, did see a bit of, take some hits to their ERAs, if you will. They got roughed up a little bit. But the Mariners do really take it to the Tigers bullpen once again in this one. They scored 4 runs in the 9th. What they score? How many runs did they score in the 9th in the first game?
A lot.
Because it was a grand slam. A lot.
A lot.
I mean, they scored 15 runs in total in the 9th inning. So they scored 4 there, 4 in today's game. So 7?
7 in the first game.
Is that true? Is that real? Holy,
oh my God.
Holy Toledo, Batman. Well, spoilers for how the final game went. Mariners won that one too.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the closest game of the 3, and it was close for a while. It was actually tied for a little bit. This game, I was a little bit more stressed about.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how the final game before the end of the first half was going to go. Logan Gilbert definitely put in the best start, I think, of any pitcher in this series. 5 1/3, 6 hits, no earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. There was an error. I don't know who it was. Was it Luke?
Luke Raley. Yep.
Yeah. So, first base, unfortunate, from him, but no earned runs to Logan's ledger here. A good start, not great, not a quality start, right?
Nope. Not a quality start.
You don't get a green line on Jake's tracker, but I mean, 9 again. It's the quantity of strikeouts just continues to be high for Logan, but the innings maybe leave a little bit less to be desired for him.
Simply because he's striking out so many hitters. But again, the offense in this game, we saw a home run from Cole Young. This one was a big boy home run, over 400 feet. Jorge Polanco had a home run untied at one point. Even Mitch Garver got in on the action, hitting a home run. Randy Arozarena hit a home run in this game, and Julio hit another home run. 3 straight games. Dare I say, Julio Rodriguez may be back. Dare I say, when he pulls the ball in the air, good things happen. And guess what he did in this series, Joseph? He pulled the ball in the air.
Well, his home run today was
to right field. Yeah. But you got.
But still, the point still stands.
It still counts. But yeah, overall, I mean, never in a million years did I think that, especially after that Yankees series, that the Mariners were going to come out and sweep the Tigers. I mean, just what the Tigers have been the best team in baseball all year long. Basically from start to finish. And I felt really, really crummy about them going in to Detroit after that Yankees series and then going into the All-Star break. I'm like, they're going to be 0-6 with the way they were playing. And you know what? They shut me up real quick, and all of a sudden the vibes around this team are much different.
You end the first half 51-45 in a playoff position with the wild card 3. You're 5 games back of the Astros. I think you're a game back of Boston, who is in the second wild card spot.
Who's won 10 in a row, by the way.
So, take that with a grain of salt as well. But yeah, I said it on the stream today too. If you had won the final game against the Yankees, a 4-2 road trip against the Yankees and the Tigers would have you on cloud 9.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily be that high after getting swept, I don't think. But this is about as close as it's going to get when you score 35 runs across 3 games. So there's lots to be excited about with how that team looked. Whether or not they come out swinging with the same firepower after the All-Star break, we just have to wait and see. You're not going to get the same level of offense. Like, I don't think they score 35 runs across 3 games another time during the rest of the season. It doesn't necessarily have to be against the same team, but like in a 3-game stretch, I would be very surprised to see that many runs once again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. Especially when they get home, and the first game out of the All-Star break is against the Astros. The Astros. Again, the Mariners are 5 games back of Houston. They got to take it to them. They got to have that same energy going into it, and they might have that same energy because they have been added to in a big way. The farm system got a little bit better because the Mariners had the 3rd overall pick on Sunday, and we've been talking about it. We've made it known that Kade Anderson was the guy that we wanted the most, but we were pretty sure that he was going to get picked probably 1st overall by the Nationals. And then the Nationals take Eli Willits. And I'm like, oh, well, there's no possible way Kade gets past the Angels. Like, the Angels just see...
Surely not.
Surely.
But alas!
The Angels love to draft guys that will be there within the next year or two, and Kade Anderson could have fit that bill. But instead, they decided to go with the right-hander in Tyler Bremner, who was an underslot pick for them at not underslot.
I don't know if he
hasn't signed yet.
I don't know if he's signed, but like the idea when you're picking Bremner at 2, when he was projected, I think the 18th overall prospect in the draft, that you'd get him underslot, but that has not necessarily been confirmed yet.
Right.
But
yeah, so that was the idea, right? Is that the Angels may be trying to save some money there, which just left Kade Anderson there for the Mariners. And I was telling Joe, I think that they literally saw that Kade Anderson pick, or that he was available, and they immediately just hit send. No questions asked in that war room. They're just like, yep, that's our guy. That was, I think, going into it, that was their white whale.
The dream scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Anderson, for those of you that don't know, he had Tommy John when he was back in high school. However, if you saw him pitching for LSU in the College World Series, you know just how good he is. He's graded out on a 20/80 scale with a fastball of 60, a curveball at 55, a slider at 55, a changeup at 60, with a control of 55, an overall of 60. I mean, you could not have asked for a better position for the Mariners to be in to be able to get Kade Anderson. He has 4 above average offerings, in my opinion, and he's going to make his way through this system quite quickly, which is probably going to be good for this team because who knows where they're going to be at pitching-wise over the next couple of years.
My dream for them was to go college arm with the 3rd pick. I honestly would have been fine with Jamie Arnold. I would have been fine with Liam Doyle. Mm-hmm. Even Kyson Witherspoon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Over the moon that they got Kade Anderson at the 3rd overall pick. I will say, based on scouting grades, if you guys look through a couple other people's, I think, for example, I mentioned Liam Doyle. I think Liam Doyle has a 70 grade or a 75 grade fastball. Like an absolutely lethal fastball. 75 is insane on a 20/80 scale. When you look at Kade, 60, 55, 55, 60. There's nothing really that is almost like a superlative. There's not something that's an anomaly that's going to stand out, the outlier type pitch. So I think there might not be as much upside with Kade as other players they could have picked at this spot. Specifically on the pitching side, we can talk about Ethan Holiday if we wanted to. Whatever. I didn't think they were going to go position player at 3. I'm happy they went arm. If someone did want them to go position player, that's fine. But whatever. To each their own. Everyone's got different opinions. Doesn't matter. With Kade, it feels like he is the highest floor of anyone that they could have picked, in my opinion. And doesn't necessarily have he doesn't have a low ceiling, I would say, either. He has the ceiling of a front line starter.
Yeah.
From the left side. It's just there's not like an outlier pitch. Sure, that can change. The Mariners could take him and they could tweak his slider or his changeup just ever so slightly and make it a 70 grade pitch at this, in a year's time. But just something I thought of when you were reading out those grades, like, oh, they're all good and above average, but there's nothing that like overly stands out.
Right.
But the thing with Kade Anderson is, yes, we saw him, go absolutely bananas. Ham sandwich. Whoop. No, never mind. With LSU in the College World Series, 17 innings, 2 starts, a 1-0 shutout in the finals. He led the NCAA Division I with 180 strikeouts in 119 innings. That's a ton, racking up strikeouts across those 119 innings. He's a guy that you could take right now, plop him into the MLB, and he's probably going to keep his head above water.
Yep.
In a year's time, after you've been able to develop him and kind of naturally figure out what will work for him at the big league level, he's going to be even better. Anderson's fastball plays much better than its velocity. It sits 92 to 94, can touch 97 because it carries past bats up in the strike zone. I compared it to Bryce Miller, and you mentioned the high spin rate.
Yep.
It's going to be something that just kind of it almost looks like a softball pitch.
Like it's a rise ball.
It's a rise ball. He used an upper 70s downer curveball as his main breaking pitch as a freshman, but now favors a high spin mid 80s slider that has the makings of a plus offering. Again, a pitch that they could tweak just ever so slightly and make it lethal. He also has a mid 80s changeup with fade and sink that has become a true weapon as he has used it more often. That's an out pitch.
Yep.
To me, that screams out pitch from the left-handed side, something that's just going to dive off the table. He's not going to be like a Scooble that is going to come out pumping 102. He's not a power arm from the left side. Not to say that he's necessarily finesse, but some of the comps we were saying was Max Fried.
Right.
If you get Max Fried out of this, you're sitting pretty with what your rotation could look like in 3 years' time.
Mm-hmm.
And Kade Anderson's a guy that could be pitching for the Mariners this time next year if he's absolutely carving and they have the necessity for it.
Right. That was the big thing with going with a college arm is we've kind of seen where this pitching staff is right now in terms of injuries, in terms of guys that are probably going to be leaving relatively soon in the next couple of years. You needed to go out there and add someone that could fill in those shoes. Sloan's not that guy, Ryan Sloan. He's still a few years away. Drangelo Sanja, we have to wait and see just because he's a very interesting prospect. But like you mentioned, there's still a high ceiling, but the floor is probably the highest of all the pitchers available, in my opinion. Now, Liam Doyle, I think, has some reliever risk, but he's very much like Bryce Miller with a very, very good fastball. Kade Anderson is more going to dice you up a little bit because you don't know what he's going to throw you because he has 4+ offerings. You get him with this Mariners pitching development, and you get him with Cal Raleigh, and Kade Anderson could go to the next level, especially there's still some room for him to grow. He's 6'2", 179 pounds. He can definitely add some good weight there, maybe get a little bit stronger, and maybe get that fastball velo up more towards the 95 area-ish compared to 92. So incredibly excited. If you guys haven't seen our reaction to when the Mariners drafted Kade Anderson, be sure to go check it out on Twitter. It was pretty funny, but the Mariners were not done. They had pick number 35, and this was an interesting one that I don't think that I knew a whole lot about Luke Stevenson prior to this draft. I hadn't really looked into him all that much, but the more that I hear about Luke Stevenson, who is a catcher, the more I'm starting to like about him. He has a hit tool of 40, power of 55, run of 30, an arm at 60, and fielding at 55, overall 50. And they talk a lot about how strong he is, and we comped him to a left-handed Mike Zunino sort of deal, where he's not maybe going to hit for a high average, but he's going to hit a lot of tanks and play good defense. And there's actually been some quotes that we've seen even since then where they said he has the floor of Jason Castro. Who was it that said this? I'm
going to find it right now.
Okay. The floor of Jason Castro, but the ceiling of Brian McCann. If you can get someone between Brian McCann and Jason Castro, you did really, really well with this pick.
Aaron Fitz is the one who said that, who is the editor-in-chief for D1 Baseball, which is a Twitter account, and I believe, a college baseball like report, like what's the word? Coverage, like a news outlet, like a website coverage. Number one source for college baseball coverage, rankings, picks, and scores. He's the editor-in-chief for that, and said that he loved the Luke Stevenson pick for Seattle at 35. Best college catcher in the draft class, left-handed power hitter, and you'll stick behind the plate with the Jason Castro floor, Brian McCann ceiling. There is some holes in the game, like we mentioned. 24% strikeout rate with a 251 batting average, so not ideal there. I mean, the way that the Mariners have been able to develop hitters, at least in the minor leagues so far over the last couple of years, maybe they could work on that a tad, but it might not be something that's overly necessary. This seems like a, almost like a standard catcher archetype now of a heavy defense, big power bat. And some of the questions about his conditioning and his stamina have improved since high school. So the 30 grade run, it doesn't have to be much better, but the fact that it's said that he's worked on his conditioning means that, to me, that be a guy that's like a workhorse and can grind out innings behind the plate. What this means for the Mariners as far as catching depth within the organization, obviously Harry Ford is still at the top. Then you have Josh Caron, and Luke Stevenson is now added into that. Luke Stevenson, I think, probably rank higher than Josh Caron within the organization as far as prospect rankings are concerned. We can talk a little bit more about what it means for Harry Ford's future in just a little bit, but I like the Stevenson pick. It wasn't something that we were like super sure about, but as we kind of let the pick settle in, something that we kind of naturally agreed, like, oh, this is pretty decent.
Yeah, it's a future battery, right? You think about it. You have Luke Stevenson, you have Kade Anderson. Like, if Cal eventually has to be more of a DH, or he maybe even play first base, Luke Stevenson may be able to fill in that role and catch for you at some point in a couple of years.
Someone
or so.
in stream said that this guy could maybe, like, they literally said, like, oh, this is going to be a future first baseman anyway, so.
Oh, Luke Stevenson?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not that, like, they any sort of evidence or anything behind it. I think they were just saying that as, like, a happenstance situation, but...
Yeah, the nice part about Stevenson is he is a lefty bat and crushes the ball and hits it in the air. That is going to play really well at T-Mobile Park. We all know the propensity that players have to hit the ball out from the left side at T-Mobile Park, not necessarily from the right side. So imagine if Mike Zunino had been left-handed.
And we've got our pick for the 91st overall.
Griffin Hugas.
A right-handed pitcher out of Miami. Griffin hug us, and he's got a nasty-looking mustache.
I love it.
That is Hunter Cranton. That is the reliever of this year.
Best pitch is a mid-80s slider. He's 21 years old.
The 169th ranked draft prospect, selected at 91. He's, what did you say? 21 years old?
21, 6'1", 210.
Okay. A 50 grade fastball, 50 grade curve, 55 slider, 45 change, 45 control, 40 overall. A two-way standout in high school who graduated from Cardinal Newman in West Palm Beach, Florida. Hugas,
We'll go with Hugas.
Hugas.
Yeah. Hugas.
Hugas. I have no idea. Freshman, he served as a reliever and played the left side of the infield. They're relief pitcher only as a sophomore. He will not blow anyone away with pure stuff, but he has the chance to have legitimate four-pitch mix as a starting pitcher at the next level. He typically sits around 92, 93 with his fastball, topping out at 95 or 96, but hitters don't square it up. So it's got some late ride or some sort of movement to it. Mid-80s sliders, his go-to pitch. The Hurricanes call it a lot. So, like, think about Matt Brashhoff and he throws his slider. Maybe it's something like that as far as pitch usage. He added a slower mid-70s curve, and while it may seem more like a get-me-over kind of pitch, some scouts think it actually has a better chance to become an out pitch. A chance to become an out pitch than the slider. Oh, it's not saying that the slider's an out pitch. Got it. He does have a mid-80s changeup, but he doesn't use it often. Struggled with command at Cincinnati, but has done much better job finding the strike zone as a starter with Miami. Decent athlete, he should be able to repeat his delivery and be a solid strike thrower in the future. I think that this seems like a guy that the Mariners are going to turn into a reliever project and do slider, maybe slider change main.
Interesting, yeah.
Or not change, sorry, slider fastball main and maybe just abandon the change. You need to see the velo come up to probably 96 or 97 for that to work fully. But if he's no longer starting, maybe that velo does creep up.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick. It's one that, they're going with another college pitcher, this time a right-handed pitcher. And I think that if there's one thing the Mariners are really good at, it's finding something they like about a guy and leaning really, really far and hard into it and turning that guy to the best version of himself. And Huggins seems like he could be that guy if they go out there and they find a reliever that they comp him to and say, how does this guy get it done? Okay, we're going to try to have this guy get it done.
He bats left-handed.
Oh, good.
Throws right, bats left.
Good, wonderful. Yeah, it's an interesting pick. It's interesting that, what'd you say he was ranked like 160 something?
169th.
So like, is this another underslot? Are they gonna go underslot with?
I think underslot there because I don't think. I mean, yes, you got Kade Anderson, $700,000 underslot.
I think you're gonna have to go overslot with Nick Becker,
who is the third pick, which we have not talked about yet. Drafted 57th overall, pint size analyzed. Shout out Brennan calling it the pick of the draft. I think he was ranked 51st?
51st,
51st, right behind Jordan Yost, Tigers' first overall or first round selection. Nick Becker, a shortstop is he out of Virginia? No, out of New Jersey, committed to Virginia. 55 hit, 50 power, 55 run, 50 arm, 55 fielding. He's 6'4", 190 pounds. He's a prep high schooler. He's 18. He turns 19 in December. His brother goes to Virginia, so that could be a problem. But if you go over slot here and you felt comfortable drafting him at 57, I feel comfortable that the Mariners will be able to get him to sign.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are people that are smarter than us calling this a great pick, I'm hyped about it.
Yeah,
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up. 11 pepper wets. Yeah, I think this is a fun pick. It's obviously he's young, like Joe said, he's 18. There's certainly a chance that, let's say he went to Virginia and after his sophomore season went back into the draft, that he could have been a top 10 pick. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the way it works with a lot of these high school guys. And so for the Mariners to go out there and say, yeah, this is our guy, and we think we can sign him and keep him from going to school with his brother, that's very interesting. And I feel like they're going to have to go. They already went under slot with Kade Anderson. I feel like they're going to have to go even further under slot with Griffin Huggis. So it's a very interesting pick, and it's one that I think that the Mariners see something that they really, really like with them. He's a right-handed hitting infielder. He already has good bat-to-ball skills and excellent hitting instincts, and he finds the barrel consistently and shows the ability to make adjustments in the box. It's easy to expect at least average power in the future as he gets stronger and learns to leverage his swing more, something he's sure to do without sacrificing his hit tool. Something that the Mariners absolutely would love is a guy who's going to be able to stick at shortstop. And by what they're saying here on MLB.com, there's a decent chance that he will defensively stick at shortstop, which is kind of an interesting scenario for the Mariners to find themselves in, because we know that they're chock full of shortstops, as people like to say. There are shortstops everywhere.
You draft good athletes at shortstop and then move them elsewhere.
Yep.
Because they're the best athlete on the field and they can go elsewhere. He was the New Jersey High School Gatorade Player of the Year for 2025. In 3-year high school career at Don Bosco Prep, hit 407 with a 1251 OPS.
That's okay.
Just light work. Yeah. Light work. Again, people that are smarter than us calling this a great pick,
I trust them.
I trust them. And this draft, unlike previous years, the Mariners, like usually, and I've talked about it, they go all arms or all bats in the first couple rounds or whatever, first couple picks. They did a mix. They split it down the middle. They went arm, bat, arm. And I think I didn't get a chance to say it before it happened. I fully expected the 91st overall pick to be a underslot college arm. Like a project style arm. Maybe not exactly Hunter Cranton Sr. out of Kansas type, but one that they felt comfortable taking, being able to develop, and going underslot with to be able to guarantee that you're getting Stevenson, who is a sophomore. He can go back to UNC if he chooses to, or Becker, who could commit to Virginia and go play college ball for a year there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Mariners are really, really good at this. They're really good at drafting, and I completely trust Scott Hunter and all the people that were saying how good these picks were overall. Again, Brennan, Pint Size Analyze, other people just on Twitter and whatnot. I believe them a lot more than I believe me, because frankly, I don't know all these guys that well. So I'm pretty excited to see what the Mariners can do in terms of signing all of these guys. Becker right now seems like he's going to be the most difficult to sign, but it opens up the question, Joe, that because the Mariners have now signed Kade Anderson, a college pitcher, they've signed, or they have drafted Nick Becker. Luke Stevenson, of course, as a college catcher as well. Could the Mariners be using this draft, specifically the Stevenson and the Anderson pick, to potentially trade some of the guys on their roster? Because keep in mind, Harry Ford is a little bit older than Luke Stevenson is. Could Luke Stevenson be replacing Harry Ford in the Mariners rankings at some point soon? And the same goes with Kade Anderson. Could the Mariners decide to trade one of their starting pitchers this fall, or this winter, because they have Kade Anderson coming, like maybe Luis Castillo, to get yourself some more money? Do you think that that is what could happen because of these two picks?
Very much so. And it's not a guarantee. Nothing about the way that this draft ended up going should guarantee a move of any prospect specifically. What it does do is allows them to get more creative and allocate certain prospects and certain packages that maybe they didn't feel comfortable doing before. Getting Kade Anderson doesn't affect how they trade, or like doesn't affect the pitcher. They could trade Logan Evans or Emerson Hancock, and I'd be very comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to getting Anderson, I would have preferred them to hold on to both of them, at least until the offseason. Now I'm like, yeah, go for it. I don't care. Like, do it. Evans is probably your number 5 for the rest of the year unless you upgraded that at the deadline. I don't anticipate Bryce Miller coming back. He should just get the surgery. He should have had it a month ago by now. But the more interesting stuff is Nick Becker and obviously Luke Stevenson. Harry Ford seems like the most obvious trade chip now from my perspective. And I think with how well he's played down in Tacoma and the way that the Mariners have kind of treated him this year, I feel like, with how well he's been performing. I mean, an 855 OPS in Tacoma. I mean, he's hitting 292, 409 with a 446 slug. He's playing well. He's going to get moved, I think. And when you have Luke Stevenson, who isn't necessarily that far behind Harry Ford, like Harry Ford should be up this year.
Mm-hmm.
Given the way that the Mariners have treated it, it seems like he would have been up next year. I don't think Stevenson would necessarily be ready for next year. I think he's more of a 2027 type. Garver has a player or a team option that you could trigger if you wanted to. That is, relying on even year Garver instead of odd year Garver. But a 1 year, what's the word?
Stopgap?
Yeah, like a 1 year stopgap to allow then Luke Stevenson to come up and be maybe the primary defensive catcher for you, because he is graded out a bit better defensively in 2027. Doesn't seem so far out of reach right now.
Mm-hmm. If the Mariners are planning to trade Harry Ford, this is the exact pick, not necessarily the exact player, but just the exact kind of pick that I would have expected them to make. And Harry Ford, we know how valuable he is right now. And it's hard to find a way to get him playing time on the major league roster because you have Cal Raleigh having the literal best season by a catcher in the history of baseball. So it's like, what do you do with Harry Ford at that point? You can't call him up. He has the biggest blockade in front of him, the biggest dumper, if you will, in front of him. So it's like Luke Stevenson, yeah, he won't be ready next year. Whether you re-sign Garver or you go out there and get somebody else to be your backup catcher next year, whatever, I don't care. But Luke Stevenson, he could probably fly through the ranks in the Mariners system pretty quickly. And assuming that he can figure out a way to limit the strikeouts and that he can get the batting average up a little bit, this is a guy who makes a lot of sense for the ballpark. Defensively, makes a lot of sense for this pitching staff. I'm very intrigued by what the Mariners are going to do at the trade deadline, specifically because of this pick, because of the Luke Stevenson pick. A little bit harder to say that with Nick Becker, because some people were like, oh, well, that means Colt's gone. No, it doesn't.
The other one.
I would think it would be Felton Celestin that would be gone if the Mariners were to make a trade, because he is their number, 3 or 4 prospect right now. And he's right in front of my face. Number 4 prospect right now, but Cole will be off there soon. He'll be number 3. That's not true. It'll be Kade Anderson, number 3. But nonetheless, Felton and Celestin, it makes sense to trade him. He's 19 years old, so just a little bit older than Becker is. If you feel like Becker can fill that role that you thought Celestin would, who has struggled a little bit. We know he's dealt with some injuries in the past, and this year he fell out of the top 100. He's hitting 281
for Baseball America.
Yes, per Baseball America. 281, 342, 381 with an OPS of 723 down in Modesto. It's not bad, but you would like to see that slug be a little bit higher than 381. He's hit 4 home runs so far, 12 doubles. He has 71 strikeouts in 68 games. I don't necessarily know what to expect out of Feldman moving forward, but if the Mariners feel like they can trade him, or I don't know who else is young that the Mariners could look to move at that position, at shortstop, like
Ty Pete, who's moved to the outfield.
He's a center fielder, but
it's some like a player like that is, still 3 years, 4 years away. Any player, position player on the Mariners, and specifically in the prospect system, that is 4 years away, Nick Becker can replace that in his value. Like, I would say Becker's, I don't want to rank them right now. He might be higher than Ty Pete.
Interesting.
Like, Ty Pete, he's had some struggles. Like, he's hitting 224 in Everett. The strikeouts are still a problem. 111 in 81 games. Like, the strikeouts are still a problem. He's very toolsy. He's an athlete.
It's amazing.
So, again, it's not necessarily as high value of a trade target. Like, I think Ty Pete would go down in my rankings.
Yeah.
Not even just, like, based around this draft. When we would have done the re-ranks and, like, say the Mariners had no draft picks, I probably would have moved Ty Pete down.
Yeah, he struggled.
He's struggling a little bit. So, like, Felton feels available. Harry Ford feels more available. Ty Pete feels more available. Either Evans, Morales, Hancock all feel a bit more available. I don't think Ryan Sloan is more available. I don't think Sanja's necessarily more available. But those are like the main names that I would look at. Maybe even Jeter Martinez is a name that I've mentioned a little bit. He's the 15th ranked overall prospect in the Mariners system right now. He's not pitching well in Modesto. A 6.84 ERA. He is probably dropping into the low 20s.
Yep.
Or I guess late 20s. High 20s is what I meant. Because
right.
Unfortunately for prospects, the lower the number, the better. But
like golf.
Yes. I don't know. It's interesting though.
Yeah, I think that for the Mariners, this is a pretty big deadline they have coming up, and they kind of got to nail it. And we all know that they have one of the best farm systems in all of baseball, and it just got better, by the way, by a lot. And so they should go out there and use some of these guys as firepower, as ammo, to go out there and add to the major league club. Finding the right fit is another thing, of course, but, I mean, could you interest the Diamondbacks in a Ty Pete and Michael Morales trade for like a Eugenio Suarez or Josh Naylor or something like that? Potentially, right? I think that if you send them those couple of guys, maybe like maybe like a quad A outfielder as well, like, sure, why not? I think that in terms of where you're at, you feel comfortable trading Ty Pete. You feel comfortable trading Felton and Celestin. And if there is a team out there that really likes them, which keep in mind, the Rays seem to really like Harry Ford, by the way. And I think they also really like Ty Pete. Could you sway them into trading you like a Pete Fairbanks and like a Yandy Diaz or something like that at the trade deadline? It's certainly possible. The Mariners have opened up so many avenues over the next few weeks for what they can do at the trade deadline, and that's only going to get better as the draft continues. This is only day one. The Mariners should have quite a few more picks over the next couple of days, and I'm just excited to see what they can do with it.
They've always done well in the later rounds of the draft too. Like, just these top 4. I mean, I think they nailed them. At least the top 3. I don't know about Huggus super like a ton, but again, you mentioned trusting Scott Hunter. I trust him and the Mariners scouting and draft team pretty heavily. Mm-hmm. Do you trust Cal Raleigh to win the home run derby? Segues are crazy.
I do. I think that there's something in that dumper, and it's home run power. He's going to be crushing the ball over the chop house in Atlanta, and I'm really looking forward to it tomorrow night. Predictions
Today
that this comes out.
today night.
Predictions. I think Cal makes it to the semifinals.
I said he was gonna win.
I mean, we all want him to.
I think he's gonna win.
All right, fine. He's gonna win.
He's winning.
Fine. Who's he beating?
He is going to beat. I gotta see this.
Junior Caminero, Brent Rooker, Matt Olson.
O'Neal Cruz. He's gonna beat O'Neal Cruz.
Okay, interesting. O'Neal Cruz is gonna make it a final. I think it'll be Matt Olson he beats.
I think O'Neal Cruz.
front of the-
O'Neal Cruz has the like the purest raw power. Maybe he doesn't have the strategy, but I feel strongly about his ability to hit the baseball really far. But I think that's all 8 contestants.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
I think that Cal, there's something to be said about. He's gonna be pissed, right?
He's gonna face Olson in the semis, and he's gonna beat the hometown guy.
Yeah.
It'll be Cal and Olson versus Cruz and
James Wood.
no Junior Caminero.
All right. You don't think James Wood's making it? Far, huh?
No. I think he's 5th.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think that Cal's going to be a little upset that he didn't hit his 39th home run to tie Bonds
Yep.
before the All-Star break, so he's going to come out swinging for the fences. So I think Cal's going to win this thing. He's also starting the All-Star game the next day with Tarek Skubal on the mound, who, Cal faced just the other day. What do you think? Because the Mariners have 4 going, technically,
Yeah.
to the All-Star game because Julio's not going. Randy, Andres Munoz, Brian Wu, Cal Raleigh. Obviously, Cal's going to get the start. Do we see the other 3?
I think we see 2 of the other 3. With Munoz pitching on Sunday, I don't think he pitches. But since he made it last year and didn't pitch, I feel like they probably want him to.
Yeah. I mean,
It's hard. Like, if he goes again and he doesn't pitch, I'd be pissed.
yeah, right. I think there's a chance you could see them both, but, Brian Wu, do we want to break that 6-inning streak? You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe he goes and he doesn't pitch, and that's how he retains the 6 innings in every appearance.
Right.
Yeah, I think a pinch hit opportunity for Randy late in the game would be smart.
Yeah.
For Aaron Boone to deploy. I think do they always go starters early? Like, because I feel like you'd want Munoz to throw to Cal, or you'd want Wu to throw to Cal. Like, would you go Skubal for the first inning and then Munoz or Wu in the second?
Sure. I think it'd be cool to have them throw to Cal on all Mariners
nice.
battery.
Yeah.
This is Aaron Boone.
Yeah, so like there's no reason for him to do that.
Yeah, why would he care?
Yeah.
But I think that would be really cool. I think I agree with you. Munoz has to get in there.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he hopes he gets to pitch this time. So like he has to get in there. Cal, of course, like I mentioned, is going to, be behind the plate. Randy's going to get a pinch hit opportunity. I don't know if Brian Wu's going to get in there.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. But, and also with the way things have worked out in terms of his days off and his rest, it makes sense for him to be able to get in there. But if he doesn't, maybe he could open up the second half. It's a chance for the Mariners to re-slot now with their rotation. Could Brian Wu open up the second half versus the Astros? You're going to have a chance to, it kind of works out the Astros are the first team out of the break because you can slot your rotation.
Exactly how you want to.
Wu, Gilbert, Castillo, or something like that. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about Evans facing the Astros at home. So I think that because of that, maybe they don't want him to pitch. Otherwise, he'd probably pitch the third game versus the Astros. But nonetheless, it's just something to think about.
We'll just have to wait and see.
You're darn right we will. But we will talk about all this and more on Wednesday. All of the official picks from the draft, what happened in the home run derby and the All-Star game. We appreciate you guys watching this episode 208 of the Hit It Here podcast. And go Mariners.